From the Riverwind Casino in Norman, Oklahoma, it's semifinal action at the WPBA US Open 9-Ball Championship.
And her opponent, bring her on in, Gerda.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Great Plains, Norman, Oklahoma, and the Riverwind Casino site for the WPBA US Open 9-Ball Championship. Mitch Lawrence alongside two-time US Open champion, the striking Viking, Ava Mattia-Lawrence. Ava, we are now down to our second semifinal. First one over, Karen Corr with a big victory over Allison Fisher, and here we are right back with two more great champions, Ga-Young Kim and Gerda Hofstatter.
Well, let's start with Gerda Hofstatter. She has not had a win on tour since year 2000, and I know she really would love to win the one title that has eluded her in her great career, and that is this US Open. Her big key is going to be the mental side. She needs to give herself permission to win. On the other hand, Ga-Young Kim, phenomenal player, fast, exciting to watch. She just has to watch it a little bit, not get too fast. She gets a little sloppy. Just make sure that she gets a nice tempo.
And what a matchup it's going to be. Both players having terrific weeks. Ga-Young Kim already in with a victory over former US Open champion Helena Tornfeld. Gerda Hofstatter with a big win over Monica Webb. One of these two will face Karen Corr for the US Open title. The lag for the opening break. Gerda Hofstatter from Austria on the left. Ga-Young Kim from Korea on the right. And it will be Little Devil Girl, Ga-Young Kim with the opening break. It's obviously been a fantastic week for both players when you're down to a semifinal match at the US Open 9-Ball Championships. It has been a good week as we watch Steve Tipton, our referee, get that first rack ready. This is a big stat right there, Ava. 5 out of 5 lags won. She has had a chance in every round so far to be at the table first, and she has taken advantage.
And it's so important. I mean, we talked about it before, but it really is. Not only does this potentially set the tone for the match by getting first crack at it, but on top of that, if they end up getting tied toward the end, she will have the break in the deciding game if it gets to hill. So it's a very big thing to win the lag, something the players actually practice quite a bit. Whoa. Not a good start there. I take all that back. Never mind.
Taking advantage. That's not the way to do it.
She just came down on that too much. So when the cue ball actually hits the one, it's already in the air. So instead of hitting the center of the one, it's hitting actually the top of it. And that results in the cue ball flying off. We don't see that very often, but it's pretty devastating when it happens. One gone. She's got the 2 and 3 together up there. 4 balls down here. And if she can get the cue ball right in that position, that's what she's looking at right now, thinking backwards. The 3 balls, so she's trying to get perfect position here on the 3 so she can get easily to the 4. That's her main shot in this rack.
One of the most familiar faces to anyone who knows the game, Gerda Hofstatter, the G-Force. Came over more than a decade ago, and she has for sure made a big-time mark in the women's game. In the game, period. Forget the women's game, in the game, period. One of the great stars on tour. And she really wants to take advantage of that opening scratch by Ga-Young Kim. Quickly give you the format of the match. It's a race to 7 to meet Karen Corr in the finals. 30-second shot clock with 1 extension per rack. They'll alternate the break, and it's foul on all balls.
Gerda looks like she's going to put a lot of left on this, Mitchell, to try to go 1 rail, 2 rails, perfect. A lot of left spin to lengthen that angle so she can get out for the 5. And now the main thing here she's looking at, she needs to get down table for the 7. So when she's looking at this, she needs to get, that's her concern. She needs to get right about in here. Just draw it up a little bit to make the 6 in the side and have the natural angle to get down for the 7. She doesn't want to have to move the cue ball all the way around the table to come back. It's very important that you play on the correct side of the ball.
Nice. In her quarterfinal match against Monica Webb, Gerda had a little bit of trouble early in the match with nerves. She talked about it, said she calmed down as she moved through the match. We'll see if she can keep her composure here early on.
And that is her keys, to be able to keep her composure. In this case, she got a little too straight on the 6. By a 1/4 of an inch more, she'd have been perfect. Now all she has to do is draw this. A lot of low, See the spin on the cue ball there. It's going to come back out for the 7. Well done. So the stop, though. That could have turned into a nightmare there if that cue ball would have frozen straight in on the 7. But she has enough of an angle to where she should be able to come up for the 8, no problem.
These two have a history of terrific matches. In 2008, they played 3 times. Gerda winning 2 of the 3, all by close scores. San Diego Classic and the Tour Championship at the end of the year. And then this year at the San Diego Classic in the semifinals, Ga-Young Kim beat Gerda 7-5. Ga-Young eventually coming in second. Monica Webb won the first event of the year on tour. These players know each other well and have total respect for each other's games. I talked to Gerda about it before. She said she absolutely loves playing against Ga-Young. This 9-ball for the first lead of the match. There it is. Center cut, Gerda Hofstatter, the G-force, 1 rack ahead here in Norman. With a chance to play for a US Open 9-ball title on the line in Oklahoma, 2 international superstars of the WPBA Classic Tour hold the US Open trophy clearly in their sights. Ga-Young Kim of Korea, former US Open champion, 2-time former world 9-ball champion, whose victory today in this semifinal would give her, for the first time, the #1 ranking on the WPBA Tour. Gerda Hofstatter of Austria, former world, national, and BCA Open 9-ball champion, who's been a remarkable icon of consistency and excellence on tour, but who's been winless since her BCA Open victory in 2000. For each player, there is much at stake, but only one will persevere and have a shot at the 2009 US Open title.
This ESPN presentation of the WPBA US Open is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. It's what winning feels like. By the American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league. And by Brunswick Billiards, since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship, preferred by experts around the world.
We have been fortunate this week to call the Riverwind Casino and Hotel our home, and what a fantastic spot it is. The casino opened in 2006 to rave reviews, and now a brand new and beautiful hotel has just opened with 100 rooms. Spectacular, 30 miles south of Oklahoma City. You will be swept away by the Riverwind. As we prepare for our second rack, here's our road to the finals. Karen Corr, a big victory over Allison Fisher. She will try to get her second US Open title, meeting the winner of this matchup. There you see the week that Ga-Young has had already. A tough second round match against Jennifer Beretta, knocking out Jasmine Ocean, the very talented Jasmine Ocean, and then former US Open champion Helena Tornfelt in the quarterfinals. 5-0 coming in. Gerda Hofstatter now with the break in rack 2 for the first time.
Good break. Oh, that was almost costly. Good break, but she failed to make anything. An open shot for Ga-Young here. Give her a chance to try to get back. The 2-ball being down here is her problem. 1 being on this side of the table. She's got a long way to go. Put a lot of draw on this ball, Mitch. I think she's too straight in to be able to follow it. Oh, she's going to pull it back. Will it get past these balls? How you doing? Nice shot.
That'll show you a little bit of the talent that Ga-Young has. Fantastically aggressive player. with the full complement of talent. Burst onto the scene, finished second in the 2003 U.S. Open, then got the title in 2004. A couple of World 9-ball championships followed that.
Nice shot on the oh, wow. After that shot on the 1 ball, she misses the 2. You can see it just completely missed it. Wonder if she was trying to break open the 3. Doesn't look like she has to. It looks like the 3-ball passes just fine, but Gerda's going to be forced to play it safe. No way to make that cut on the 2-ball. And she came up short. Now, normally there's a potential for a bank here on the 2, but I doubt she's going to go for it to be able to hold it. She's got a lot of blockers right here, the 3, the 6, the 5, the 7. She's going to freeze it behind that 7-ball. Nice speed. And Gerda's going to be forced to kick 2 rails here, right at that 2. And what you want to do here is you want to try to, the 2-ball's close enough to the rail where you can judge it and try to hit the left or the right side of the 2, trying to create a safety instead of just making contact with it and hoping to get lucky. No, I think she went for the luck factor. She didn't feel comfortable she could get a good safety, so she just tried to hit it and see what happened. She didn't really get a roll. You can see it right there. Cue ball hops up in the air.
Now it's just a question of where is everything going to wind up. Long, tough shot for Gai Young.
And Gai Young, that's a very typical thing to have happen. She tried to create an angle that just wasn't there. She was too straight in it to pound over for the 3-ball. So she tried to cheat the pocket a little bit and just cheated it way more than she could afford. And Gerda finds herself back at the table. Watch this 8-ball. That cue ball's going to just, no. She would have loved to get that cue ball behind the 8, Mitch, but this is all right. This will work too.
During the course of this match, as we have all through the quarterfinals and will through the semis and the final, we will get some insight and some information as we watch Gai Young play a safety. We'll get some information along the way from the 1994 U.S. Open 9-ball champion, Jeanette Lee, who's down on the floor right now. Jeanette?
I'm here with Belinda Calhoun, one of the veterans of our sport. Belinda, where have you seen the WPBA go from when you began?
Well, generally speaking, Jeanette, just the sheer numbers. Wasn't that long ago that a female pool player was a novelty, and now it's commonplace. And I'd say more specifically would be the skill level of the ladies. It's just improved leaps and bounds, and it's really a joy to watch.
Well, it's fantastic seeing you still play as well as you do. So best of luck to the WPBA, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jeanette.
We certainly, all of us who are in the game, owe a debt of gratitude to Belinda for all she has done over the years.
Gai Young's eyeing a billiard here, Mitch. Tough shot. She can't do much as far as the safety. Watch the cue ball. That'll work.
Look at that.
She may, she may have played it to where she was trying to get to the end rail and behind the 8 and just hit it a little thicker than she wanted to. That would have been a great safety as well. If she was going for this billiard, then excellent shot. But she still has a lot of work to do here. She would have to make this tough shot on the 2. Wow. Wow. And it's not over yet. Couple of ways to go. She's on the wrong angle on the 3 to easily draw it. She make the 3 here. She's got 2 options. She can go around this 7-ball and come up to this area, or she can just draw it with a lot of reverse and spin it. Spin the cue ball. It looks like what she's going to try to do and come out for the 4. Nice stroke on that ball, Mitch.
One thing about Gai Young you'll see as she goes along, she will make some mistakes. She is a very talented, freewheeling kind of player with a lot of knowledge. You'll see her make some mistakes, but you will also see her recover from those mistakes. She had missed the 2 earlier in a long shot, came back and made a good shot this time around. Grew up in the world of 3-cushion billiards in Korea. At her father's 3-cushion room, Yang-Ki Kim, a tough taskmaster all along the way.
She has gained great knowledge and confidence and is now a World 9-ball champion and a US Open champion as well.
That was well done there. Got the perfect position on this 6 ball. The 9 was potentially in the way there. She really had to took her time there and made sure she played the correct angle in the last couple balls to get the shot at the 6. Well solved this puzzle that was this draft. She really played it well.
And we got to see a lot of the creativity out of Guy Young, that billiard from the 2 to the 8, touch, power. She's got the total game. Gerda knows it. She knows she's in for a tough match. Guy Young Kim now will try to tie this match up at 1 rack apiece. And she does so. Guy Young Kim on the board for the first time. We're tied at 1 in a race to 7. One of these two will move to the finals here in Norman, Oklahoma. Welcome back to Norman. Semifinal action at the US Open 9-ball championship. The break, always a big part of any match. Won't be any different in this one. Gerda on the left, Guy Young on the right.
Guy Young has a very unusual style. You see how close her feet are together. Gerda much more wide apart. Guy Young really revs it up though. Look how far back her hand is. She stands up and really gets her body into it, while Gerda is still all the way down at this point. Doesn't have as much clearance. She still kicks up with her leg and puts power into it, but Guy Young just gets a lot more of that power into the break, and it shows in the statistics that she does have a more effective break.
We always hear players at the top level of the game talk about working on the break. No different with these two. Here's Gerda's week in Norman, and it has been a very strong one as well. In that quarterfinal victory over Monica Webb, Gerda really hung tough through the beginning. Monica with a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes along the way. A good week for Monica. I know she was disappointed, wanted to get to this point, but Gerda really shone at the end of that match. Played tough after a 5-5 tie, won the last 2 racks. Guy Young with nothing on the break, so the break has not been kind to her so far in her first 2 attempts.
No, a lot of power. She hit him well, but just nothing went. Gerda has a shot on the 1 here, come around 2 rails for the 2 ball that's down here. 3 ball on this side of the table as well. This is a shot. Just put a little bit of right spin, low right, come 2 rails. Just as long as she avoids that 6 ball, no problem. That's a perfect direction. And she doesn't have to do much now, obviously, from the to get from the 2 to the 3.
As Gerda looks at the 2, we want to mention this truly unbelievable table that both these players are playing on. The Isabella, elegant piece of work, artistic work by Brunswick Billiards, blue lapis, different kinds of wood from all over the world. It is really something to marvel at. Lucky to have had it, and a great table to play the semifinals, the final of the US Open 9-ball championship.
Now, Gerda is such an excellent athlete all the way around. She does a lot of yoga now that she was talking about earlier in the last match. And she has a fencing background. She's just played a lot of different sports, and she's in great physical shape. So her stamina is good. I think as much as she's been working on her mental game, it really helps her that she's in such great shape physically. Very strong stance at the table, very strong presence. One of the few players that haven't had major issues, the top players that have been playing a long time, with physical ailments, back problems, neck problems that are so common out here on tour when you've been playing for a long time and not taking care of yourself physically.
She has certainly done that, and she's always been a learner. She's always been a seeker, has Gerda. Just decided a few years ago to go after a degree and got a Bachelor of Science degree in New York from NYU.
And Gerda's got her work cut out for her here, Mitch. This is the key shot, the big shot, getting from the 6 to the 7. I know she would have loved to be closer than this. She's going to have to put a lot of power on this. She's going to make that 6 ball, and it takes a beautiful stroke to draw the cue ball all the way back to get a shot for the 7. Oh, no good. She needed a solid hit on that and just kind of spin it backwards, and instead she hit a little too thin. She still made the ball, but that changed the angle completely. It looks like the only option she has to play the 7 up towards the 8, the cue ball to the left. She would love to get that 7 to rest right on the 8 to stop Guy Young from getting an offensive shot. Right about there. Whoa,
No.
whoa. Not there. It's not an automatic by any means, but Guy Young's loving the fact that she has an opportunity for a bank here. This is very makeable, and Gerda knows it. Just to overhit it a little bit. Good shot. Part of the pocket.
And obviously with the 8 right there on the rail, able to stop the cue ball there for a shot on the 8, exactly what Guy Young wanted. This 9 for the lead. For the first time today, Little Devil Girl out ahead of Gerda Hofstatter by a rack. Every week, we ask our fans to ask a pro. In this case, the question comes from Torch LeGroux. Do you currently work with a coach? How about an answer from one of the most likable players on tour, Janet Atwell?
I do have a coach. I'm working with Stan Shuffett from Greensburg, Kentucky. Just recently, we've been working on a couple new things. I feel like it's important to have a coach because without having someone to instruct you on what you could be doing wrong and the exact way of doing it proper, you continue to do the same thing wrong and you go nowhere with your game. You just get at a standstill.
Thanks for that tip, Allison. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, the U.S. Open 9-ball championship. Mitch Lawrence and the striking Viking. Ava Mattia Lawrence here with you as we watch Steve Tipton prepare the rack. For rack number 5, we're going to show you first the highlights from rack 4. Gerda Hofstatter with the break.
Tough layout here, Mitch. Gerda had no choice. She could not hit that 1 ball after a great safety by Guy Young. She took an intentional foul, but she did get back to the table, even though Guy Young had ball in hand after missing that 2 ball. Gerda takes another intentional, but this time she hits a little bit off. She left an open shot. She wanted to tie that 2 ball up. Guy Young takes advantage and takes a 3-1 lead.
Normally very good at executing whatever strategy she decides on. Gerda now finds herself, after that last rack, down by 2 against Guy Young Kim in a race to 7.
Power on that break. That was a great break shot, Mitch. And she was rewarded. She let go of the cue ball a little bit. You can see it at one end of the table. 1 ball is makeable. 2-6, a little bit of an issue there. She wants to get the cue ball right about in there. She'd have to play with great touch to get it there. The only other option would be to put a lot of right spin on this cue ball and to go into those 2 balls, maybe even go around them. Oh. Hit that way too thick.
What she had in mind, she'll let you know. Body language, a big part of watching Ga-Young Kim when she plays.
And that was all due to where the 2-ball was that she missed that. Her mind was not on the 2-ball. It was all, on the 1-ball. It was all focused on what to do with the 2. Gives Gerda a great opportunity to have a chance here to get within 1.
Just wants to drift down a little bit for the 4. Does not want to be straight in. Whoa, may have to get a little creative to get to the 5. Let's go down on the floor. Jeanette Lee has a word with Karen Kaur.
Karen, you've been playing fantastic. You won the semifinal match. You're waiting to see the winner of this. Who would you rather play?
I'm just delighted to be watching and waiting, to be honest. You know, it's a good position to be in, so I had a chance to relax and wind down and hopefully refocus. Really doesn't matter. It's a great opportunity to be in a final and looking forward to it.
Okay, Ga-Young Kim, what would you say were her greatest strengths and weaknesses?
Well, she breaks terrific, Ga-Young, and terrific firepower. She's a very dangerous player, to let loose.
She is a very strong player and a world champion, but so is Gerda Hofstatter. So what about her strengths and weaknesses?
Well, Gerda's been playing much more consistent this year. She's really focused. She's, playing great pool. She's, more solid, like a more, all-rounder. She's a little bit more careful in that than Ga-Young, I guess, if anything. So, and again, she's running racks and making balls off the break. That's what you got to ask for. And get a shot to get out.
All right. Well, thanks for your take on that, and good luck in the finals.
Thank you, Jeanette.
All right.
Gerda got a little straight here, Mitch. She does not have too many options to get down to this 8. The 9-ball being there, that makes the 9 a potential trouble. See, Gerda's arm is shaking a little bit there, Mitch. That is not something unusual. She has that little bit of a shake going on. She's learned to play through it. It's not nerves. It's just one of those things. She gets down to shoot, and it just does that. She's going to have to make this 8-ball, Mitch, a tougher shot than she wanted, no question. She love to have gone down to the other side of the table, but she's going to have to take her medicine. Looks like she's trying to kill the cue ball here. Low left.
Oh.
Did not cut it enough. She hit that with low left to get on the other side of the 9, try to kill it. You see it here. She hit it too thick, trying to spin that ball in.
Oh.
Luckily for her, she's left a safety for Ga-Young. She can't really kick it in, so she's going to jump it. She needs to pop this straight up in the air.
Yep. No.
Wow. What a break for Gerda.
And
not only to get the snooker, but then for her not to get over this ball. She landed too soon there, Mitch. You could see it.
And a big surprise because of her ability to make shots from all different parts of the table. Wow. Well, Gerda will take this 9. Big turnaround. She will be within a rack. And let's learn more about the woman they call the G-Force as we go behind the cue.
Well, so far this season has been my best one over the last 10 years, I think. I feel like I've made a little breakthrough this year. I've overcome some obstacles. I'm trying not to get in my own way anymore and damaging myself. If my opponent plays better, fine, but I'm not trying to talk myself out of things like I used to.
Gerda Hofstatter!
I feel like people are taking the sport way more seriously than they did before. There's different parts to the game, and in the early days you would just play pool and that was your practice, and now you really work on every aspect of the game, and it shows up. Competition is tough now from the first round on, and it's, it's cool. It's really nice to be a part of that still, after so long. I'm 38 now, and I feel like I'm physically in the best shape of my life, and I've also mentally changed a lot. It's like, things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore. I just have a different outlook on life, and it's just, everything's cool. Life's good.
The WPBA booth is at every stop on the WPBA Classic Tour. A great place to pick up books, DVDs, posters of your favorite players, all kinds of WPBA paraphernalia. Look for the WPBA booth the next time you are at a WPBA event. The American Pool Players Association annually conducts the U.S. Amateur Championships every November. Last year's U.S. Amateur Champion was Amy Chen.
I pretty much first picked up a cue freshman year of college. I'm very competitive at heart, and so I think that's what drove me to play more and more. The APA U.S. Amateur Championship was my first big event that I've ever played in. Luckily, I played really well, and when I got to the finals, I was really, really nervous. So I didn't really play that well in the finals, but I pulled it off and won it undefeated, so I'm very, very happy about that.
And every year, the U.S. Amateur Champion earns a berth in the WPBA U.S. Open. Playing with the best can be a distraction for the up-and-comer.
It's really kind of intimidating because all the top women players are here. You know, you see Allison Fisher, Jeanette Lee, Kelly Fisher, Ga-Young Kim, Xiaoting Pan, and you know, my mom's here, my brother's here, and it's kind of funny because my mom just keeps wanting to go around getting everybody's autograph. Right now I am working part-time to support my pool career, just taking it one step at a time. Ultimately, I just want to play my best, and I just want to learn all I can about the sport because it's so beautiful. If it weren't for the American Pool Players Association throwing the U.S. Amateur Championship, I wouldn't be here. So I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Congratulations to Amy. Glad she was with us this week. We're going to move to rack 7, but first the highlights from rack number 6. Gerda Hofstatter with the break, down by 1 rack at this point, Ava.
And Gerda makes a good, solid break there, Mitch. She makes the ball, and she has a shot at the 1 ball. Long, tough shot. No problem. Part of the pocket. She then plays a safety on the 2 ball. Leaves a shot for Ga-Young. Not an offensive one, but Ga-Young has the opportunity to play a safety, and she plays that safe. And check it out. The 2 ball gets a little too high. Sets up for a billiard for Gerda. Nails it. Nails it to take the match to 3 games apiece.
Fantastic shot making. We've seen it from both players now. We expect it from both players. Fully capable. Ga-Young Kim with the break. Rack 7 tied at 3. A race to 7 to move to the finals against Karen Kaur. And nothing on the break for Ga-Young Kim.
No, and it's, you see a 1-8 combination is available. 5-7 is a major issue on this table that's going to come into play. Gerda has no option but go for this combination. She should make this, just overcut the 1 ball. Question is, what kind of shot she's going to get after. No, she just hit it a little too thick, Mitch. She needed to hit a little less of the 8 ball than that for the 1 to come out. Now she's forced to play safety. She has a couple of options. She could just thin the left side of the 1 here, send the cue ball down. She could try to use the 2 ball. She'd have to hit it real thin. Oh. Well, I think she tried to hit it so thin that she came from behind. I don't think she was trying to hit and stick it right there. But it worked out all right.
She'll take it.
She'll take it. Ga-Young does have a shot, it appears, on this 1 ball, but the 2 is well guarded by the 4. She would have to either get all the way across to the other side of the table or back out to the center of the table for a shot at the 2. Tough spot to be in. She's left Gerda nothing but a bank, but the 4 ball is blocking the pocket. These 2 balls, she could solve it right here, banking the 1 ball over there, sending the cue ball, preferably straight into the 7 to where it sticks right on the 7, right behind the 5. Well, she hit a little less of the 7 than she wanted to, but it looks like she came out finding like a rose anyway. No problem. I think Ga-Young went for her jump cue here. Beauty of this shot, Mitch. The 1 ball is fairly close, easier to judge to make it. And she knew she had a good chance of getting position on that 2 ball.
She will let you know right away, won't she?
She was not happy about that. Nothing wrong with the jump, but she was just not set up right at all. A tricky little backwards cut from Gerda there. And tough to do that too when she's got that 2-ball right by the side pocket. Setting up
right
for the same shot.
Cue.
This is not easy to make. The fact that both balls are on the table, if you even grazed that rail, she could end up jumping off. It was a good shot, not an easy jump. See, she clears the 2-ball with no problem. If that one was off the rail just a little bit, it would have been much easier to make it.
Big shot for Gerda now.
I think Gerda went for that 9-ball. She's giggling. She did go for the 9-ball. She said, "I don't like it." You see the opportunity here, but she hit it so thick that she went straight in on the other side of the 9 and scratched, and the table just opened wide open here, Mitch.
You think she got a little carried away with the billiard on the 9 she made in the rack before?
I
Thought maybe
so.
It's just every rack I'm going to do this.
I think so.
Critical time.
Oh boy, Gaillon still has a lot of work, Mitch. She wanted to get that 2-ball off the rail, and she did, but now the angle she has to get down to the 3. She's flirting with that side pocket. She would love to be able to draw it back down. Oh, nice shot. Nice shot.
Fired it in. Checking out where she wants that cue ball to wind up for the 4.
This is a tough rack. You know, sometimes the rack are just, you know, you just kind of, it's tough to miss. You really have to work at messing a rack up. This is a difficult layout. It's going to be much more difficult now if she gets snooker behind that 6.
I think he got past it.
Just barely. Still really tough. Where the 5 is, you know, making the 4 is one thing, that's tough enough, but with the 5-ball being right here by the side pocket, she's really going to have to come with something, either babying this. She's going to go ahead, try to draw it up on this side of the table. Some goal right. Oh, she went for the bank. Oh. She'll take that.
I guess she will.
Just a messy rack. You know, you just got to, you know, get through this. It's like walking in mud. You just have to get through a rack like this. Take the little breaks that you can get. Forgive yourself for playing sloppy.
It's interesting because both players in this rack have laughed at one point or another at what's going on. It's such a serious time in this event, semifinals of the U.S. Open 9-ball
Then she comes with that shot. Fantastic. This is so beyond missable. Such a difficult shot. A lot of people will ask me, you know, how do you shoot a ball down the rail? It's really hard to keep it, especially past the side pocket like that. Beautiful stroke.
And with that kind of angle, I mean, if you're off anywhere by a millimeter, that ball's not going in.
You bet.
This is a great example of what this game is all about. Sometimes we see racks, like Ava said, you see a rack that's perfectly played, it looks like an easy game, and then there's these kind of racks where you got to come with some shots, you get a little luck, a roll here and there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not over yet.
I don't know what she said there. My Korean's a little bit off, but it wasn't good. She's going to need to get the bridge here. It looks like, unless she can reach over. You know what? This closest the cue ball is to the 9, I have a feeling she's going to go for it here. Just go for the straight back bank. How did you hit it,
That is nothing but perfect. Look at that. That look right there tells you a lot. This is just fantastic. Couple times climbed over the table.
She was a little mad at herself for getting out of line here on this 9, and she just said, forget it, I'm not playing safety, this is mine.
This is a shot maker par excellence. Ga-Young Kim now up by a rack over Gerda Hofstatter. Action aplenty here in Norman. Welcome back to Norman, the U.S. Open 9-ball championship semifinal action at the Riverwind Casino. Mitch Lawrence and Ava Mattia Lawrence with you. Let's take a look at our Mueller top 16 finishers, all of them fantastic weeks here in Norman. Let's hear from one, the very familiar and talented Monica Webb.
Strategy when I'm playing certain individuals on tour, you know, of course I take into consideration little things like if defense works better on this particular person or whatever, but that's pretty much where it stops. I focus on my game. I think that's why I'm so consistent. Every shot, staying in the moment, and just doing my best and enjoying myself, and usually that's good enough to win.
Congratulations to Monica on another good week as we watch Steve Tipton getting ready for rack number 9. We're going to show you the highlights from rack 8.
Ga Young got a little lucky and got a dead combination there on the 1-7. She had a billiard here on the 2 to the 3. Made the 3 ball, continued that rack, and extends her lead to 5 games to 3.
So after being tied at 3 apiece, Ga Young has opened a little bit of breathing room as we move to rack 9. She will have the break here. Come up dry a couple times in this match. Does not want that to happen here. Oh, almost scratches in the side.
Yeah, and she made that 6 ball in the pocket, Mitch. 9 ball was heading straight for the corner pocket. She's got a shot right here. 1 ball in the corner. 9 ball being down there. That's going to be a tough one to pass up. It looks like she's going to play the 2-9 combination right there. She wants to get as straight in as possible. Just roll this 1 ball in. Either way she wants to go, really. The run out is pretty available too. Funny, the 4 ball's in a funny spot, but I think the shot here is to go for the 2-9 combination.
Now we go back now with this 2-9. This would get her to the hill. What a critical rack. Rack number 7 was, where she came with a couple of shots when she needed them. There it is, has changed the entire nature of this matchup. Quick work to rack number 9. And if you are Ga Young Kim, that's exactly what you wanted to happen. Gerda Hofstatter, not so much. She knows she's against it now. On the hill is Ga Young Kim, 1 rack away from a trip to the finals.
This ESPN presentation of the WPBA US Open is brought to you by the American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league, and by Q-Tech Cues, serious cues for serious players, and choice of the world's most dominant player.
Welcome back to Norman. As we get ready for rack number 11, we're going to show you the highlights from rack number 10.
Gerda hits a great shot right here on the 1 and just barely hangs. And you can see how she felt about that. Ga Young, however, manages to snooker herself on the 2 ball and just barely sits in the pocket. She really wanted that to go. Gerda comes with a great kick here later in the rack on the 5 ball and then does this. She misses an easy 6 ball for pretty much of an automatic out. Ga Young makes this kick, and watch that 9. So close to going in, but instead, Gerda has another opportunity to get out. And she manages to pull within 2 at 4 games to 6, and she is still in this match.
And that was a beautiful stroke on the 8, you could see, to finish that rack off. Now Ga Young Kim wants to end it now on the hill, 1 rack away. Karen Kaur waiting in the finals. A good, solid break.
That was the last thing Gerda wanted to see. Good, strong break. She makes the 1 ball, the 5 ball. She's got the 2 right here. The 3 is up there. Wow, 7-9 could be an issue down here. We'll see what happens as we go along in this rack, but right now it's in Ga Young's hands on the hill, 1 game away from getting into the finals. Looks like she is going to have to come with something on that 7 ball, Mitch. I don't think it passes in the pocket where it's at because of the 9. If it does, it's very, very close. Oh, I take that back. It passes no problem. This game could be over here, Mitch.
And that, it was an interesting look on Ga Young's face that you saw. That's a zone look to me. She's usually so emotional, but this is a very calm face for Ga Young Kim. 6 times coming into this match against Gerda. She had a break and run. Had a very short one in the 9th rack with a 2-9 combination. This one, a longer break and run. She manages to get the 8 and 9, but much more important, it would mean a trip to the finals. One ball left for Little Devil Girl. Here we go. There it is. And as I said, 2 competitors with a lot of respect for each other, and I think Ga Young Kim knows that she has beaten the champion in Gerda Hofstatter today. She moves into the finals now, 7-4. There's our road to the finals, 2 left out of the 64 that came to Norman this week. That is going to be a great final matchup. Our super shot of the match brought to you by the APA, actually super shots of the match. Rack number 7, we were tied at 3 at this point, and in a very difficult rack, Ga Young Kim did what she had to do. Pulled ahead 4-3. Watch this one to end this rack. From there, she went on to beat Gerda Hofstatter. Let's go down to the floor. Ga Young is with Jeanette.
Congratulations, Ga Young, fantastic. Now, you had an opportunity last track to actually run out, and, well, you blew it. So,
yes, I
But then
did.
how did you keep your composure to break and run out like you just did to win the match?
Because I thought I still have 2 more chances to break. So if I keep my chance, and then I think I have a chance to win. And then last red I broke, and then it was right open. So I said, this is the one that I'm going to win this match.
Right. Well, that's the positive mindset of a champion. So good luck in the finals. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
You see both sides of Ga Young Kim, the tough competitor that took care of Gerda Hofstatter, and the one that will face Karen Kaur in the finals of the US Open 9-ball championship. Congratulations to Gerda on her finish this week. What a matchup this will be. Twice before in 2003 and 4, Ga Young Kim and Karen Kaur have gone after a title at the US Open. They each have one. Somebody's going to move ahead in that race. For Ava Mattia Lawrence, for Jeanette Lee, I'm Mitch Lawrence. Glad you're with us in Norman. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Norman.